So first we will discuss the ulnar nerve. Ulnar nerve, it is a branch of medial cord of brachial plexus, and this is the root value C7, C8 and T1. So this is course and its main relations. See here, this is ulnar nerve and it lies posterior to the medial epicondyle of the humerus. It arises in the lower part of the axilla and runs between the axillary artery and axillary vein in the arm. And in the arm, it runs on the medial side of the brachial artery up to the insertion of the coracobrachialis muscle, and here it pierces the medial intermuscular septum along with the superior ulnar collateral artery to enter into the posterior compartment of the arm. Okay, and here it lies posterior to the medial epicondyle. Next, in the forearm, ulnar nerve enters the forearm by passing through a gap between the two heads of flexor carpi ulnaris, and this gap is called cubital tunnel. Okay, and then it runs vertically downward up to the wrist, and where it passes superficial to the flexor retinaculum, just lateral to the pisiform bone and the medial to the ulnar artery. Okay, this is the identification point. It lies superficial to the flexor retinaculum, lateral to the pisiform, medial to the ulnar artery. During dissection, this is the point how you will identify the ulnar nerve in the forearm. Next, in the palm, at the distal border of flexor retinaculum, the ulnar nerve divides into two branches, superficial and deep terminal branches. Okay. So next we are going to the branches and their distribution. So in the axilla and in the arm, there is no branch of ulnar nerve. In the forearm, these are the branches. Muscular branches for the flexor carpi ulnaris and medial half of the flexor digitorum profundus. Articular branches to the elbow joint, palmar cutaneous branch for the skin over the hypothenar eminence, and dorsal cutaneous branch for dorsal aspect of medial 1.5 digits and adjoining area of the dorsum of the hand. Okay, so these are the branches in the forearm. Next, in the palm it gives two terminal branches, superficial and deep terminal branches. Okay. Next, we are going to one clinical aspect, ulnar paradox. Okay. Ulnar paradox is lesion of ulnar nerve or median nerve at more higher level induce less prominent deformity. Okay. This line is very, very important. Ulnar paradox is very commonly given in your theory. Okay. Explain why or part of the long question, ulnar paradox. More higher level of injury of ulnar and median nerve leads to less prominent deformity, less prominent claw hand. Okay. Generally, in higher level of injury, there is more signs and symptoms and more prominent deformity occurs. But here opposite is occurring. That's why it is important. Next is these branches. Palmar cutaneous branch arises just above the wrist and enters the palm along with ulnar nerve by passing superficial to the flexor retinaculum. Okay. Here you can see this is level of the flexor retinaculum. This is ulnar nerve. This is palmar cutaneous branch entering superficial to the flexor retinaculum along with the ulnar nerve. And dorsal cutaneous branch arises about 7.5 cm above the wrist under cover of flexor carpi ulnaris, and it turns backward around the ulna to enter on the posterior side of the forearm. Here this one is dorsal cutaneous branch arises about 7.5 cm above the wrist under cover of flexor carpi ulnaris. Okay, and enters on the posterior side of the forearm. And in the lower part of the forearm, the ulnar nerve lies superficially medial to tendon of flexor carpi ulnaris and lateral to the ulnar artery. Okay, this relation is important for identification of the nerve. So ulnar nerve root value is C7, C8, T1. Okay, root values are important for your Viva and MCQs. So how it begins? It begins as a branch of medial cord of brachial plexus, and this is the root value, and these are the course and different branches at different levels. In axilla and in arm there is no branch. In axilla runs between axillary artery and vein, and then it lies medial to the brachial artery in the middle of the arm and pierces the medial intermuscular septum to enter into the posterior compartment of the arm. Next, in the forearm, it enters through the cubital tunnel lying between the two heads of flexor carpi ulnaris and flexor digitorum profundus, and in lower part, it lies under the skin between the flexor carpi ulnaris and ulnar artery, and it gives branches to flexor carpi ulnaris, medial half of flexor digitorum profundus, palmar and dorsal cutaneous branches, and articular branch to the elbow joint. And in the palm, it enters the palm by passing superficial to the flexor retinaculum, and it gives two terminal branches, superficial and deep terminal branches of the ulnar nerve. So in the palm, it is homologous to the lateral plantar nerve of the foot. Okay, this is asked in your Viva or MCQ. So, and it is called musician's nerve. This is also important. Explain why question. Why ulnar nerve is called musician's nerve? Because it supplies the muscles controlling the fine movements of the fingers. That's why the ulnar nerve is called musician's nerve. Here you can see this is superficial branch and this is deep branch. It is supplying the hypothenar muscles, interossei, okay, and other small muscle, adductor pollicis, all these are supplied by this branch from the ulnar nerve. So, and these muscles are controlling the fine movements of the hand. So that's why the ulnar nerve is called musician's nerve. Very, very important. Explain why. Why ulnar nerve is called musician's nerve. Next is it enters the palm by passing superficial to the flexor retinaculum and deep to the volar carpal ligament, and lies between the pisiform and ulnar artery. And it terminates by dividing into two terminal branches, superficial branch and deep branch. Superficial and deep branch. See, this white colored structure is the flexor retinaculum, and the ulnar nerve is passing superficial to the flexor retinaculum, and median nerve will pass deep to the flexor retinaculum through the carpal tunnel. Okay. So next we are discuss the superficial and deep branch. So superficial branch of ulnar nerve, it gives these branches, muscular branch to the palmaris brevis and cutaneous branch to two palmar digital branch for the medial 1.5 fingers as these two. Medial palmar digital branch for medial side of little finger here. See, this is superficial branch. It is giving one muscular branch to palmaris brevis. Then it is giving two cutaneous branch, common digital and proper digital, and one common digital. Proper digital nerve is supply medial side of the little finger, and the common digital, it is dividing into again two branches supplying adjacent sides of the little and ring finger. Okay. So medial palmar digital branch for medial side of little finger, and lateral palmar digital branch divides into two branches to supply adjacent sides of the ring and little fingers. Okay, so these are the cutaneous branches of the superficial branch of ulnar nerve. See here the distribution of nerve supply. Okay, this is palmar aspect. Medial 1.5 supplied by the ulnar nerve, lateral 3.5 supplied by the radial nerve. This is median nerve. This pink area is the median nerve, and some part here supplied by the superficial branch of radial nerve, and this area supplied by lateral cutaneous nerve of the forearm. Here some changes should occur. This 3.5 is supplied by the radial nerve and 1.5 supplied by the ulnar nerve. এখানে 2.5 করে দেখানো হয়েছে, 2.5 will not. Okay, so 3.5 and 1.5 on the posterior aspect. Next is the deep branch of ulnar nerve. It is giving muscular branches to the hypothenar muscles. These three are included in hypothenar muscles: flexor digiti minimi, abductor digiti minimi, opponens digiti minimi. Flexor, abductor, opponens digiti minimi. Okay, this will be digiti minimi. And 4 palmar interossei and 4 dorsal interossei. See, these are the palmar interossei, dorsal interossei. 2 lumbricals, 3rd and 4th lumbricals. This is 3rd and 4th lumbricals. And adductor pollicis. This one is adductor pollicis. So all these muscles are supplied by the deep branch of the ulnar nerve. And articular branches are given for these joints: intercarpal, carpometacarpal, and intermetacarpal joints. All the joints of the hand, okay, all the joints of the hand will be supplied by this ulnar nerve. So ulnar nerve is branch of medial cord. This is root value. In the forearm, it is giving supply to medial half of flexor digitorum profundus and flexor carpi ulnaris, and giving dorsal cutaneous branch and palmar cutaneous branch. We have seen previously. In the palm, it is giving superficial branch and deep branch. Superficial branch is supplying palmaris brevis and giving digital branches to medial 1.5 fingers. And deep branch is supplying the hypothenar muscles, 3rd and 4th lumbricals, palmar interossei, dorsal interossei, and adductor pollicis. Okay, so this is the different branches and their supplying areas. And deep branch of ulnar nerve and deep branch of ulnar artery, they passes backward between the flexor digiti minimi and abductor digiti minimi, and they perforate the opponens digiti minimi. Okay, lies between the two muscles of hypothenar eminence, flexor digiti minimi and abductor digiti minimi, and then pierce the opponens digiti minimi in this region. Okay, and deep branch of ulnar nerve passes deep to the long flexor tendons and lies in the concavity of the deep palmar arch. And deep branch ends by supplying the adductor pollicis muscle here. Deep branch ends by supplying adductor pollicis. And ulnar nerve passes through the Guyon's canal at the wrist. This is also important, Guyon's canal, where it is located. It is a osteofibrous tunnel formed by the pisiform, hamate, and flexor retinaculum and the volar carpal ligament. Okay, near the wrist it is formed. Next is another clinical aspect, handlebar neuropathy. Okay, this occurs due to ulnar nerve injury that occurs in motorcycle or bicycle riders. Okay, due to long riding in hyperextended wrist, hook of hamate compresses the ulnar nerve. Here, this is the location of ulnar nerve, and here it will be compressed by the hook of hamate and results in ulnar claw hand. So next we are going to ulnar claw hand or spinster claw hand. Okay, there will be paralysis of 3rd and 4th lumbricals supplied by the deep branch of ulnar nerve, and due to paralysis there is hyperextension of the metacarpophalangeal joint. Lumbrical function of lumbrical was flexion at the metacarpophalangeal joint. So if they are paralyzed, there will be hyperextension at the metacarpophalangeal joint and flexion of the interphalangeal joints, and inability of full extension of the ring and little fingers. Okay, so this will lead to claw hand. See here, loss of sensation. This will be the features of injury to ulnar nerve. Loss of sensation along the medial border of forearm and hand, here 1.5 And paralysis of lumbricals, third and fourth, and all the interossei will lead to claw hand due to unopposed action of long flexure and extension of the fingers. Hyperextension at the metacarpophalangeal and flexion at the interphalangeal joints. And paralysis of the palmar interosseous muscle will lead to inability to adduct the fingers. Paralysis of dorsal interossei will lead to inability to abduct the fingers, and there is sensory loss over the medial 1.5 fingers. Loss of sympathetic supply will lead to vasomotor changes, and that include the dry skin over the medial 1.5 fingers. So all will be features of the ulnar claw hand or injury to the ulnar nerve. Okay. Next we are going to, so we have completed ulnar nerve, ulnar paradox and ulnar claw hand. All these are important questions. Okay. Next, and supplying area, deep branch of ulnar nerve, why it is called musician's nerve. These are very, very important questions from the ulnar nerve. Next we are going to the median nerve. Median nerve is the main nerve of the forearm, and it is also called laborer's nerve. Why it is called laborer's nerve? This is also important. Explain why. Why the median nerve is called laborer's nerve? As it supplies most of the muscles of the forearm and thumb required for crude movements of the laborer. And it is formed by joining of medial and lateral roots of the median nerve in the lower part of the axilla. This is the course and relations in the axilla. The median nerve crosses anteriorly to the brachial artery from lateral to medial side, and in the cubital fossa it lies medial to the brachial artery. Okay, tendon artery and nerve from lateral to medial. And in the forearm, the median nerve passes between the two heads of pronator teres muscle, and here it is separated from the ulnar artery by deep head of the pronator teres. Okay, ulnar artery passes deep to the deep head of pronator teres, and then it passes deep to the fibrous arch of the flexor digitorum superficial, and in the lower part of forearm about 5 cm proximal to the flexor retinaculum, the median nerve emerges on the lateral side of tendons of flexor digitorum superficialis, and here you have to clean the fossa to visualize the nerve. Okay, so these are the relations. Next, in the wrist, median nerve passes deep to the flexor retinaculum to enter the palm, lies within the carpal tunnel. Okay, and in the palm, the nerve lies medial to the thenar muscles, and here it gives the terminal branches to supply these muscles. Thenar muscles, first and second lumbricals, and digital branches. Next, we are going to the branches. In the axilla, there is no branch. Okay, here you will see the branches. The axilla, no branch. In the arm, in the lower part of the arm, it is giving branch to pronator teres. And in the cubital fossa, it is giving branch to these muscles: flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay, flexor muscles of the forearm. And in the forearm, it is giving another branch that is known as anterior interosseous nerve. Here, this is anterior interosseous nerve, and which is supplying flexor digitorum profundus, lateral half of this flexor digitorum profundus. Other half is supplied by the ulnar nerve, and flexor pollicis longus, pronator quadratus, deep flexor muscles of the forearm. So anterior interosseous nerve is supplying lateral half of flexor digitorum profundus, flexor pollicis longus, pronator quadratus, and it is giving articular branch to the inferior radioulnar and wrist joint. And there is one cutaneous branch, palmar cutaneous branch for skin over the thenar eminence. See, this one is palmar cutaneous branch for the skin over the thenar eminence. Next, in the palm, In the palm, it is supplying the thinner muscles. Thinner muscles are these three: abductor pollicis brevis, flexor pollicis brevis, opponens pollicis, and also supplying the two lumbricals, first and second lumbricals, and these are the digital cutaneous branches. Digital branches for lateral 3.5 digits, including the nail beds on the dorsal aspects. So these are the summarization. Median nerve root value is C5 to C8 and T1. All the roots are present. Beginning, it is formed by medial and lateral root in the lower part of the axilla on the lateral side of the axillary artery. In the axilla, it lies on the lateral side of the third part of the axillary artery. Here it has no branch in the axilla. In the arm, it crosses the brachial artery anteriorly from lateral to medial side, and here it supplies the punator teres, okay, in the lower part of the arm. And in the cubital fossa, it lies medial to the biceps tendon, passes between the two heads of punator teres, and supplies to the flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor digitorum superficialis, superficial flexor muscles, and it is giving a branch anterior interosseous nerve which is supplying to the deep flexor muscles and to the proximal radioulnar joint, and also giving palmar cutaneous branch. And in the palm, it is supplying it passes deep to the flexor retinaculum, okay. Deep to the flexor retinaculum means it passing through the carpal tunnel and supplying the thinner muscles, lateral 3.5 digits with nail beds, and first and second lumbricals. An anterior interosseous nerve is supplying the flexor digitorum profundus, lateral half, flexor pollicis longus, punator quadratus, inferior radioulnar, and wrist joint. So median nerve gives branch to the punator teres muscle above the elbow joint, okay. This is the only branch in the arm. Crosses the brachial artery from lateral to medial side in the arm. An anterior interosseous nerve, it arises from the median nerve in the upper part of the forearm while it passes through the two heads of punator teres. This is the origin of anterior interosseous nerve, and it descends downward on the anterior surface of interosseous membrane in between the flexor digitorum profundus and flexor pollicis longus muscle along with the anterior interosseous artery, okay. Lies on the anterior surface of the interosseous membrane, and it supplies the flexor digitorum profundus lateral half, flexor pollicis longus, and punator quadratus, and these joints, articular branch to these joints, wrist and inferior radioulnar joints. And it supplies the punator quadratus from its deeper surface. And it is the most common nerve that gets damaged in the supracondylar fracture of the humerus. And this median nerve is most commonly injured in supracondylar fracture of the humerus. And this palmar cutaneous branch passes downward superficial to the flexor retinaculum and supplies the skin over the thenar eminence. So this is supply of palmar cutaneous branch. So it enters the palm deep to the flexor retinaculum through the carpal tunnel. Root value is C5 to C8 and T1. And in the carpal tunnel, the median nerve lies deep to the flexor retinaculum, lateral to the tendon of flexor digitorum superficialis, and anterior to the radial bursa and flexor pollicis longus. And in the palm, divides into medial and lateral branches. See here. See, this ulnar nerve is passing superficial to the flexor retinaculum, and median nerve is passing deep to the flexor retinaculum within the carpal tunnel. And this is the palmar cutaneous branch to supply the skin over the thenar eminence. And after entering into the palm, it is dividing into two branches, medial branch and lateral branch. The lateral branch, it is muscular branch to the thenar muscles. See here, these are the three thenar muscles: flexor pollicis brevis, abductor pollicis brevis, opponens pollicis. It is getting supply from the lateral branch. And it is also giving 3 digital branch, one for each of the lateral side of the thumb, medial side of the thumb, and the lateral side of the index finger, and this branch is also supplying the first lumbrical. So these are the branches supplying the lateral branch of the median nerve. And this is the test for and the medial branch, and the medial branch is giving mainly the cutaneous branches, digital cutaneous branches, supplying adjacent signs of the index and middle and ring finger. And from this branch, it is also supplying the second lumbrical. And this is Phalen's test. Okay, Phalen's test for determination of medial nerve compression. So you have to hold the wrist in forced flexion for 30 to 60 seconds. In medial nerve compression, there will be tingling and numbness over the medial nerve distribution in the carpal tunnel syndrome. Okay, lateral 3.5 area, this is the supplying area. So here you will feel tingling and numbness. So this is carpal tunnel syndrome. Medial nerve in carpal tunnel, this is section through the wrist, and see the median nerve is passing deep to the flexor retinaculum within the carpal tunnel, and here it may be compressed. Medial nerve is entrapped in the carpal tunnel, it is entrapped in the carpal tunnel, will lead to carpal tunnel syndrome. There will be paralysis of the thenar muscles. Due to the paralysis, there is ape thumb deformity. Okay, and there is flattening over the thenar eminence, because thenar muscles were supplied by the medial nerve, branch of medial nerve, and there will be sensory loss over the lateral 3.5 fingers and lateral 3.5 portion of the palm. And there will be Froment sign, paper holding test, and Phalen's maneuver, darken test. All these can be done to determine where there is compression of median nerve. And there is lag of index and middle finger while making the fist due to paralysis of the first and second lumbricals. Okay. Okay, so median nerve root value is C5 to C8 and T1. In the arm, supplying pronator teres, in the cubital fossa, supplying this muscle, flexor carpi radialis, flexor digitorum superficialis, palmaris longus, elbow joint. And in the forearm, it is giving anterior interosseous nerve, supplying this muscle, lateral half of flexor digitorum profundus, flexor pollicis longus, pronator quadratus. And it is giving palmar cutaneous branch for skin over the thenar eminence. And in the palm, it is giving 2 branches, lateral branch, medial branch. Lateral branch is supplying thenar muscles and lateral 1.5 fingers and first lumbrical. And medial branch, it is supplying the lateral side of index and adjacent sides of index and ring fingers and second lumbrical. Okay, that's all. So from median nerve, 2 important explain why is there. Why it is called laborer's nerve? Because it is supplying all the important muscles of the flexor compartment of the forearm. And this carpal tunnel syndrome is very, very important. What will be the signs and symptoms of the carpal tunnel syndromes? And this Phalen's test and other tests that can also be asked in your theory. So you prepare the course of this nerves, median nerve, ulnar nerve can come in your long question, and those clinical aspects are important for your explain why or part of the long question. Okay, understood?